Hi guys, welcome to LoveCast, the BL podcast reviews. I'm your host Alexa, and I have my fellow hosts Kayla and Pixie with me as always.
Hey.
So today we are reviewing the Taiwanese BL See Your Love, which was voted on by our patrons as always. I think we can just get right into the synopsis because it's a long one. So, eager to escape from his familial duties, Xiang is sent to Taiwan for business negotiations, but is immobilized by an attack en route. He persuasively hires capable assistant Fang Ji to employ Shao Peng as his caretaker, hoping to seize the opportunity to flee for freedom. Shao Peng, frustrated in job seeking due to his deafness and muteness, discovers that he's being used and angrily decides to leave. Understanding the reason later, he expresses sympathy for Xiang through sign language. Gradually, Xiang is attracted to Shao Peng's perseverance and tenderness, particularly moved by his optimistic facade that masks his anger and insecurity about his deafness and his doubts about love. To protect Xiang, Feng Shi agrees to act as a decoy, tricking the clumsy assassins led by Shen family into making their move, which inadvertently allows Feng Shi to escape danger, sparking his love. Love arrives suddenly, catching one off guard, yet it also inspires bravery and growth. Just as they openly express their love in a moment of happiness, a lurking danger gradually closes in. So they basically just said the entirety of the show in that synopsis. But this is a 13 episode drama, about 25 minutes each on iQIYI. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm just going to preface this by saying, of course, our thoughts are our own, and they don't take away from anyone who had a positive connection with the show. But I think we were all kind of on the same page with this one, and it might not be the popular opinion, I guess, when it comes to this show.
Yeah. I will say all the comments that I see about it are very positive. So, like, in a general sense, it seems like a lot of people enjoyed it.
I mean, it has an 8.7 on my drama list, which is really high
Wild.
for any drama on that platform. I feel like I probably have maybe the least negative thoughts about it because I didn't necessarily like it, but I felt nothing about it. Like I just felt very neutral about it by the end, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just didn't really connect with the characters. I didn't really connect with the story. Like there didn't feel like there was much for me to connect with there.
Yeah. I was really disappointed because this was one of the shows that Lin Pei Yu wrote. The woman that also wrote We Best Love. And I see
Right.
all the problems I had with Best Love in this. Like, it's the worst of it for me, personally.
I saw this TikTok. I'm going to pull it up. I saw this TikTok the other day, and as soon as I read it, I was like, see your love. This video is from TikTok user Beefy Twunk, which I love that name. But they said, when I watch a BL that everyone is hyping up, but it looks like a Tubi movie and the effects are giving cap cut.
Oh.
That's how I felt about this series. I couldn't get past the editing style at all. I couldn't get past the camera work. It was very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Yeah. No, I see that. I think I personally have not been drawn to the Taiwanese BL for a while. Like I can't really remember the last time I sought out a Taiwanese BL on my own accord. It might have been like 2020 because since then I've really just watched them like when people vote on them for reviews. And I do think there is something in like I don't know if it's the editing style or the way the shows are filmed that just like I don't really connect with it. So I do feel like I felt the same way. I think my biggest issue with this show is that I don't understand why Shao Peng liked, what's his name? Xichang. I It felt to me like I felt the same way that I did about Calvin and Jay and the Next Prince, where I could see why Ji Chang developed feelings for Shao Peng. Like, it was this person who showed him care and kindness when his family never did. But Shao Peng to me it felt like there was not a lot to him besides his deafness, and I hate to say that. Like, I mean, I know they kind of showed that he's been keeping his emotions under the surface, but like, they didn't really show him feeling a lot of feelings for Shi Chang until after like they were already in a relationship. Like, he didn't really have much of his own character outside of being Shi Chang's caretaker, and I see them trying to like flip the dynamic on his head by making the person with the disability like the caretaker. Like, I see what they were going for there, but I feel like his character just felt like it didn't have that much substance for me. And I think that was the hardest part for me about like watching the show. Is like, I see that guys are together, and I see that you like the actors had good chemistry like towards the end, like when their characters were together, but I was just like, I don't understand why they're together, because like it felt very one-sided for me.
Yeah. In the beginning, like I said, the first and second episodes to me are fine. I think they introduced the struggles of him being deaf and having to search for a job, and the struggles within that of people looking at him like he's a child, like he can't take care of himself because he's deaf. I think they portrayed that really well in the beginning. And set that up really well. So that was great. But they lost me when he got angry and like tried to leave or whatever. The comedy completely lost me. Like, it's probably, I've said this before, I don't often respond to comedy shows in general. And that might just be me being weird, but I thought it felt out of place. It didn't land, and it felt forced. A lot of it felt really, really forced.
No, I definitely had those same thoughts watching the first two episodes. I particularly felt like it was like they were setting up this very serious, like, this man is being chased by a gang, which the whole gang was unserious. Like, that was another thing. A lot of stuff felt like it didn't have consequences, but I was like, okay, they're setting up this man who is like being chased by this gang. They're setting up this other main character who is like trying to show the struggles he has, trying to land a job with a disability. And then like, the comedic moments that would come up just felt very like, they didn't land for me either. I agree that the comedy felt very out of place. I feel like it was a little bit less comedic as the show went on, but like even still, like when those moments were happening, like I was like, the comedy didn't land for me that much either.
Is like, are there a lot of gangsters in Taiwan? Why does every Taiwanese BL have the mafia in it? Like, every single one.
Because
it's getting a little
it wasn't
old.
necessary. Like, I feel like they could have told a story about like a rich guy like who feels useless to his family, and Xiao Peng as a character with a disability like trying to find his own like independence in that without the gang plotline. Because half the time, like, the whole thing was like, oh, the second characters and like the second couple was supposed to be like searching for this gang and trying to find them, but they never did that. Like, they never showed them actively like searching out the gang. Like, it was so obvious as soon as the cousin was introduced, it was so obvious that he was the one behind everything, and he confused me too. Like, it felt like there were so many different plots, but like they didn't really connect or make sense in the way that they were introduced in the story.
And then wasn't it the cousin who was threatening to shoot them, and then like a scene later they were all friendly again?
It was
That was crazy. Like, he was actually gonna kill someone, and then he was like, you know what? Let's all kumbaya
No,
around the campfire.
it was so, I had a feeling because when they saved like the whole climax of the cousin conflict until the last episode, like I had a feeling it was not going to be well, like landing. But yeah, it was literally like one scene on the rooftop and then he was fine. And it was like the same thing with the dad like showing up at the dojo and being like,
Yeah.
I don't accept my son, and then like it was never addressed again. I guess they just ignored that the dad like didn't accept them, even though his whole thing was like he was gonna go tell off his dad and tell him that he wanted to like choose himself, but like that never happened.
Yeah,
So
it kind
yeah,
of
it's just a lot
felt
of
like it felt like they were missing, like, I don't know, like it should have been 2 seasons or something so they could expand on everything, because it feels like they've just like scrunched it all together just to make it fit into 13 episodes.
yeah. I feel like they had an idea of like I feel like they had an idea of like two base characters that they wanted, and then just kind of like made stuff happen to them. And I was like, this stuff doesn't need to be happening to them. And it was very, very tropey, which like I don't really mind the tropes with like the family member that wants him to die and the evil fiance that comes in to try and break them up. Like it's very like it's all the classic tropes that you get when you have like one character who is rich, and like I don't really mind them, but it's just like they didn't like, again it comes back to feeling like nothing had any consequence. Like they introduced conflicts and then didn't really put like there's no effort into resolving the conflicts. They just kind of like resolve themselves with no real effort.
There were, I will say, there were some things that I thought they did well. Like Shao Peng's whole struggle with trying to find a job, and he's being discriminated against because of his disability. It's just like so true to life. So I felt really bad for him, because like everyone was thinking that he's like incapable of doing anything because of his disability. And even with all his credentials that he had so many credentials, they were like, I don't think you can do this. I don't think we're going to take you seriously, that was sad. And I think, I mean, from my perspective in general, I think they did disability representation way better than GMMTV ever has.
Yeah, I had the
Like,
same
That's
thought.
true.
I think that's one thing they did really well. And I also like that they didn't infantilize Shao Peng because of his disability either. Like that was
Yeah.
really good. But again, I had the same thought as you, Alexa, where I just still couldn't connect with any of the characters or the story.
I think it had a lot of potential. I think the characters had a lot of potential. Or let me rephrase. I think the death character had a lot of potential. I don't like the whiny boss son baby thing going on. That is not my jam. But I think like the death character had a lot of potential to really have a good story to build on. But it's like they kind of made him deaf only to get brownie points. I don't know. The story wasn't well connected.
Yeah, no, I do think like of the characters that we had, like he was definitely like his it's hard because like I feel like he didn't have a lot going for his character, but at the same time, I think it's like what you were saying, Kayla, like I think his disability representation was like really well done, at least compared to the other BLs we've seen that have addressed disability. But like for me, it felt like there wasn't much to him beyond that. And I think that's what made it hard for me because like I did really connect with that aspect of his character and the way they portrayed those elements. I really liked how I keep forgetting his name, Xiang, which is the other guy. Like I really like the elements of like him learning sign language and like him like explicitly saying like, hey, I love this person, and the fact that he is deaf and can't speak and that's not going to change. Like I think they addressed those elements very well, but for me, like, the character felt like he didn't have much else going on. And with Xiang, I agree, like, the whiny, like, CEO rich son, like, he definitely toned it down in the later episodes, but I feel like I just had a bad taste in my mouth because they went so heavy on that in the early ones. But yeah. Yeah, I also, like, did not like the second couple. Like, I did
Me
not
neither.
like the second couple. Their, like, whole first encounter made me think of Top Form with Johnny and Akin, and, like, the second lead guy, like, convincing this person who was dead drunk that he basically convinced the gangster dude that he assaulted him by saying, like, oh, we had sex last night and I was very uncomfortable, but you insisted that we do it and you were so rough. And then in the end he revealed that, like, they never slept together. Like, that I knew he was lying about that from the beginning, and that just immediately set such a bad taste for them in my mouth. And I just, like, they didn't I didn't really like him. I didn't love the secretary character. I thought the little, like, wannabe gangster but is too soft. He was cute, but, like, I was so off put by the other guy and the way their relationship started that I did not like the second couple at all.
Yeah.
I liked his parents a lot. I really liked Shao Peng's parents. I thought they were really cute. I really loved the mom, and I love that the dad, like, really stood up for both, like, his son and Shi Chang at the end when Shi Chang's dad showed up. So I like the parents as well. I like them as characters, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the best scene for me was probably when they were in the hospital and they had the talk. The mom,
Yeah.
like, kind of vented all of her thoughts. That was a good scene. I'm the fact that you mentioned, like, why does Xiao Peng even like him? I'm really starting to, like, wonder
They
now
don't
because
show him, like, developing feelings at all. Like,
the only
yeah.
thing I could think of is, like, that I don't know. But then it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. I'm thinking of that scene whenever they're writing to each other on the iPad and they're talking about, like, freedom. Like, their whole thing is that they both want freedom in different ways. Like, Ji Chang wants freedom from his family business responsibilities, and then Xiao Peng wants freedom from to just, like, live his life without people kind of viewing him as incapable. So, I mean, I saw that they connected there on that level. But again, I don't necessarily think I read that as romantic. Like, it could have just
Yeah.
been two people connecting with each other.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me. Like, I saw them connecting, but for me, like, from Xiao Peng's perspective, it never really looked romantic. And even when Ji Chang kissed him for the first time, like, when the power went out, like, it's Xiao Peng looked like he never saw that coming. Like, it didn't seem like kissing Ji Chang was even, like, an inkling in his mind. And, like, sure, that's possible that, like, you don't realize you have feelings for someone until after, like, they express your feelings for you. Like, that can be a thing for people. But I also think, like, when you are, like, writing a show where two characters fall in love, like, it's nice to see that coming from both perspectives and not just one. But I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I'm looking at my notes. I don't remember. I think this was in reference to the one female character, but I just wrote pick me's everywhere. And then I was like, wait, is this a pick me to lesbian pipeline?
I
Like,
thought they were
wasn't-
going there too. I thought they were going there too. And I kind of feel like they were trying to, like, hint at that at the very last scene where she showed up and was like, you have to buy me dinner now. But I would have loved to see that a little bit more fleshed out. Also, like, I low-key got, like, the cousin's motivations were so confusing to me. There was one point where I was like, is he in love with his cousin? Because
I
he was
wondered
like,
that too.
because he was so threatened by Shao Peng and, like, his cousin, like, giving up his promise of, like, helping him run the company for Shao Peng and his love for Shao Peng. And, like, he was, like, I don't know, just weirdly, like, intimate with him. And, like, I don't think that's what it was in the end, but there was a moment where, like, he was like, oh, you broke your promise to me. And they showed this flashback of, like, Chao Cheng being like, oh, I'm gonna rely on you forever. And I was like, is he in love with his cousin? Like, I
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
I don't think they were trying to do that, but that kind of reinforces another thing that I noticed about this series, and that it's very fan servicey. Like, there was a lot of like close-ups close-ups in the shower. There was
Yeah.
a lot of like kind of like tension between people that like you wouldn't really expect there to be tension between. Honestly, it kind of reminded me of Top Form too, whenever they tried to pull that thing with Akin and the manager, where you're like, that came out of nowhere. What is going on here? Something about it felt very, very fan servicey. I don't know.
Yeah. I will say one thing about the Taiwanese BLs is that they are always going to have other Taiwanese BL actors make a
Oh my
cameo
gosh.
in the show. And I do always live for the little cameos. Like the bartender and then the guy who was in History 3 showing up in that one scene. So I do always love that they, like, the connections between the Taiwanese BL actors, like, they are always in each other's dramas, and it's always fun to see who is going to make a cameo, because you know someone will. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that this show did the disability representation well, like, is a really strong point for it, and I wonder if that's why, like, a lot of people have positive feelings about it, which is totally understandable, especially considering some of the other shows we've got with disability representation. But I think beyond that, like, nothing about the show really stood out to me. I did think that the leads had, like, the actors had good chemistry, but I just, like, was not convinced on the relationship itself enough to be like invested in that chemistry for me. So, like, that part wasn't really hitting for me either.
Yeah. There isn't anything necessarily in this show that makes me angry or make me like really dislike it, but there isn't anything that like kept me really engaged either. It just felt all over the place. So it's like I wouldn't say I hated it, but
Yeah. That's why I was like, I feel like I just don't really feel much about it at all. Cause like, yeah, like I didn't actively dislike it, despite like some of the things just being like, you know, not super connecting for me in terms of like the plot and the way things came together. But yeah, there just like wasn't anything that super connected me to anyone in the show either. So just I feel like I came out of it with like no real feelings about it either way.
yeah, I would really love to, for the people who are listening to this and like the show, I would really love to hear what about it made you love it. Because I think it's interesting to think about shows from a different perspective. And right now, we all have the same perspective.
Yeah.
So we're getting one side of it. So I would really like
Yeah,
to hear from
100%.
others.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously the show connected with people for a reason. It did not particularly connect with the three of us, but yeah, I would love to hear what about it people really connected to. I would love to get those different perspectives. I think the three of us, like, we do have a lot of differing opinions, but like we've also been doing a show together for 5 years now. So we also like, I feel like our tastes have also aligned a little bit over the years as well, despite like us also differing a lot at the same time. But yeah, like when it comes to things like this, when we all have the same feelings on things, like it's nice to get that like outside perspective from the audience.
And also we do watch a lot of BL. So we have a lot to compare it by. So it's kind of our standards might be like higher because we've watched so much already and talked about so many shows and really gone deep into like details of shows and stuff like that and what we like and what we don't like. So for me, watching a BL show isn't like pure entertainment anymore. Like you sit there and you overanalyze basically. So,
yeah, especially when it's something like where you know you're gonna be doing a review on it. Like I am extra paying attention to the details and like my thoughts on it. So it is harder for me to just like shut my brain off and like watch it for entertainment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add. I really don't.
Okay, well, if we don't have any other thoughts on things, do we want to give our ratings out of 5? I feel like I was kind of hesitating between like 2.5 and 3 because I feel like 3 is kind of like middle ground, but at the same time, I don't know. I think I landed more on like a 2.5 because like I said, I do really like the disability representation, and I do think that is a very, very like strong point of the show. I think the actors had a good chemistry, but beyond that, like there's nothing that would really make me sit down and like say yes, you should spend your time watching this show. So, you know, I don't want to downplay like a show having good disability representation because that alone could be enough for someone to want to watch it. But I just think the other elements weren't there for me enough to be like, yes, everyone should watch this show. So I don't know. I think I'm landing on a 2.5.
Honestly, same. I was also thinking between 2.5 and 3, and I agree with everything you said. Like, because of the disability, if it wasn't for the representation of disability, it would be like low end 2 for me.
If it had been like GMMTV style disability representation, I probably would have given it like a 1.
True.
Like if he had suddenly gotten his hearing back at the end. Like,
Oh my god.
Dude.
There's always that fear there now. But no, they did well with that aspect.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I don't hate it. I just don't particularly resonate with it. So I think a 2.5 is fair.
I'm gonna go with a 2. 1 point for them showing, at least in the beginning, like Shao Peng's, the discrimination that he's going up against in the workforce, and I just found all of that very, like, unfortunately realistic, and I like the portrayal of it, so definitely a point for that. And then the other point I'm gonna give to his, like, the way he interacted with his parents. Like, I liked their whole family dynamic. That was probably the highlight of the show for me. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 2, unfortunately. Same as you guys. Like, I didn't hate anything about it. The thing that like irritated me the most was the editing. I just didn't like how choppy it felt. And it honestly, it felt like a lot of it was filmed in like extreme close-ups. Which I don't understand. Extreme close-ups where there's like barely a subject in the frame. I don't really get it. But yeah, that was the only thing that like really started to irritate me. Everything else I was just like, it's fine, but it's just not for me, I think.
Yeah. Well, like Pixie said, if the show really did connect with you and you really enjoyed it, definitely let us know why. Like, I do really want to read all the different perspectives, and if you did have the same thoughts on us, let us know why the show didn't hit for you as well. Like, I want to see the spectrum of opinions. So yeah, share that all down in the comments below or with us on social media. And if you are interested on voting for what shows we review each month, you can go ahead and join our Patreon. They are the ones who vote on which series we review each month, and they also get access to watch it a month before it goes up on YouTube. So they will be seeing this a month before everyone on YouTube who is watching it currently. And it's also just a great way to help out the show if that is something you are interested in. But that is going to be all for this month's review, and we will see you guys again next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.